All right, good day, everyone. Today we're going to do a recap of today's trade on Nasdaq. That was the US 100. So clearly, off the weekly time frame, we can clearly see we've taken out previous week high, took out previous week high on Monday. So that's basically first of all I need to see to actually know, okay, we would have a measure of retracement on the daily time frame, and we might be heading towards what's it called, these low resistance liquidity run right here. We have a BC right here. This is the high of that daily BC, and we have a low resistance liquidity run down here on the daily time frame. So that would very much be our target. We didn't get to this low on Monday, so on Tuesday, which is today, I was looking forward to taking a trade. If price had not taken out this low resistance liquidity run prior to the New York stock market open at 9:30, I would look for a trade in that direction, towards that direction as a target, and see how it goes. So on the daily time frame, we can see Monday took out that's last week high, which is last week Friday's high, and we had a measure of retracement down. And Tuesday we rallied up a little bit, and we wicked out down. We almost I think the day hasn't closed yet. We still have the PM session to go. We can see if we take out this relatively equal lows, or although I'm looking out for price to take them out. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, on the 1 hour we can clearly see we have this fair value gap right here. We have this fair value gap right here. During Monday we tested that fair value gap, and they had a series of had a little rejection. Had a rejection. Was actually hoping that this rejection would run down to take out this low, but we didn't. Leaving more liquidity down there. So we stored and consolidated for a while till today. Then this 1 hour fair value gap, you see me transpose it down to the 15 minutes, as it would still be relevant for us down on the 50 minutes. So going down to the 50 minutes, we have we also have the 50 minutes fair value gap, which I was interested in while trading to this market. So prior to the New York stock market opening today, 9:30, which is this point, we're going to mark that with a vertical line. So prior to this New York stock market opening, we had relatively equal highs right here. We had these relatively equal highs right here. So first of all, if most times it does occur a lot, if I do see the New York stock market opening running after a level of liquidity, price would likely go after an opposing liquidity to balance things out. So took out that high, took out this relatively equal high, and I was waiting to see where price was going to reject from. It didn't just give us a total soup and reject. We had price pulling upwards. We have the 1 hour fair value gap, and we also have, I'm taking out this vertical line now. We also have this 50 minutes fair value gap right here. We tested the low and came back. We tested low and got to the high, rejected off the high, and this itself has shown price. Yeah, very well. Yeah, I can say, okay, we are about to show a market maker, see a market maker sell model, possibly to a level or a drawn liquidity. For me, it was the London low. I was more interested in London low for targets. We have the London low, which there are major forms of targets, high and lows of session, and we have this low resistance liquidity run, which I did group. The one how you see they are relatively equal on the daily, this low and this low. So if price had come down, I would be looking for price to sweep this low as well. So these were targets, and these, let's say for the day, my major target. And you can see we got there. So on the daily, I saw the daily, seeing this candle close, rejecting this 15 minutes BC. It was very clear to me that, okay, we would definitely see a measure of displacement downwards, price moving, pulling downwards. We didn't close above, we respected the high of that 15 minutes CB. And on the hourly chart, I'll go back to the hourly chart. And on the hourly chart, sorry, chart we have and see price did not bulge to close or did not even try to close above the consequent encroachment of the hourly uh, C. So that self is showing okay. We are very well respecting that CB, and we did have a mohawk, or should I say, a form of a total soup right here. About high of the 9 o'clock candle with the 10 o'clock candle. That okay. We can still very well do with that. So took out that low risk and liquidity run right here, and at the retracement, and this is where I went to my 1 minute time frame after the retracement, after the close of this candle. At the close of this candle, I was interested. We took out this high of 9 a.m. and we closed below the open of the 10 o'clock candle. So that was attracted my brought my interest in going down to the 5 minute. Nothing much on the 5 minute there. So on the 1 hour and 5 minute here, it closed below. On the 1 minute, the user was now interested in breaking down the trade. And here's how I go about all this. I do tend, most times before taking a trade, I do tend to look how price reacted to a, let's say, if price tends to want to pivot from a certain point, if you look up on another block, I would love to see price reacting, respecting the quadrants, or should I say also the areas of those that PDR, like should I say the quadrants and let's say the consequent encroachment and so on. So you can see seeing this itself. I love seeing this in price. You can see what price did there. I'm more focused on the consequent encroachment. We were reacting, testing the consequent encroachment, and I was very interested in seeing that and price. So I waited for the next. I think the second macro we not the second macro, sorry, the 10:50 to 11:10 macro is where I think I got my entry. I got my entry. We had this move down. We had the. I think I would use this so they will see better. So we had this breakaway gap right here, fair value gap right here. We didn't retest that fair value gap during the macro. I was still watching. That CB, which I said as a breakaway gap. Still watching for that. Also an extra confident had for that was that during the I'm going to turn on an indicator which shows me new days opening gap as well as the opening range gap. Turning out that you can see we did not even feel get to the midpoint of that the opening range gap. This red shaded line is the opening range gap, and these lines right here are the new day opening gaps. And you see very well how I use them for the trade. I can see we did not even get to the midpoint. So seeing this currently, you can see after seeing this displacement right here, I was expecting price to run back. We didn't get that, which was also um, um, some signatures in price I do love seeing. Breakaway gaps indicate strength in a current move. So we had this displacement right here. Price traded back to that CB. That's where I got to my entry. Entry at that level had a displacement for those who are not comfortable for the retest of this CB right here will be a nice entry, leaving a level of breakaway gap that was very interesting, very nice to me to see. But on this first move, took out this low right here. This could be definitely be a point for a partial. If that's not comfortable for you, the retest of this can be an entry. We had a displacement down to the midpoint of this new day opening gap. I think the midpoint of that new day opening gap, I'm going to take off a few ones first. I need it to be clean. At the midpoint of this new day opening gap right here, I took my first partials and I brought stop loss to break even right here. This was my initial entry, stops above this block, stops above this other block. I was not interested in seeing price coming back to this fair value gap since I was a breakaway gap. So already we are in the new the opening range gap, and this displacement was like I'm going to take out this low, and probably go for my primary target, which was the low of London. So this displacement down there took out my stops, took out my first partials at this point, and brought stop loss to break even. Hold on, brought stop loss to break even. Stop to break even right here, and got to another entry at this level. We had the retest where I got another entry at the retest of this low. I think I was using the lesser risks. I took lesser risks since I was already at off my risks at this point. I was okay with taking another entry at this level. Low and low risks here. Price coming down to the low of this level. I took another entry, move stop loss to the high of this other block. I wanted to see DEX remain open, even if it did come up and take out this high. It should just act as a total soup, and I did not want price to come above the high of this CB. So my stop loss was above this CB. We had the displacement at that level. Price traded created a favor CB, and at the close of this opening range gap, this why at the close of this opening range gap, I took another partial, took out this as well as closing this opening range gap. I took another partial, so I was done with that opening range gap, new day opening range gap, and I was more focused on seeing price run down to. I'm just going to turn off the new open range gap. So I was more interested in seeing price run down to the low London sell side liquidity. Understand? So we stalled a little bit. Why I was, although I did not trim my stop loss, I took taken partial twice. I did not trim my stop loss to this high. No, I left my stop loss at this high as well. I left it there. Why? Because we had this in price. We had this consolidation in price. Most times, my experience with this is that I do tend to see level of, or should I say, it does most times it gives a certain amount of high resistance in the moves of the market, level of high resistance. So I do anticipate a level of retracement when I do. Though I've taken a level of partial, so I was okay with seeing price. Even if price takes me out, I was okay with that. So price traded back. We didn't get up to the gap. I was using that as a breakaway gap, so I did not expect price to come back there. We traded reacting to the new day opening gap. I think that was the 10th of December new day opening gap. Took out sell side, buy side liquidity, total soups, and this displacement. At the second room, I took out I think my last partials, and I was holding for my higher time frame target. So I moved that. Holding for my higher time frame target on the daily time frame, which was that daily sell side low resistance liquidity run. This going back to daily chart. So holding what was left for these relatively equal highs, and probably to see if price would run down into the midpoint of this CB, BC, sorry. So back to the lower time frame. Start price taking out this high and running down. I move stop loss to the high of this CB, and I had some measures. I had some total, and I measured this. I think this other block right here, that other block right here, that the other block right here. I brought my stop loss above the consequent encroachment or the mean threshold of this other block. Just if price is going to retest this level, if it comes back and get to the high of this other consequent mean threshold of that other block, my stop loss will be taken out. So I was willing to take that risk, and yeah, price stopped at my last partials, and was done with the trade. And currently, price is still stalling. I don't know what the PM session is going to deliver. But I really do want to see price take out social liquidity. But I'm out. So for the trade, I'm just going to show you guys my entry, my trade executions. I did take entry positions on Trading View. Yeah, it's paper trading on Trading View. Although I did trade this live on my MT4. I did trade this live on my MT4. So you see trade executions. So you can see entry one. That was my first entry, initial entry. Price come back to this CB right here. I took a second entry. This CB I took a second entry, and price coming back to this side, the low of this CB right here. At price running back, price displaced and was coming back to the midpoint. I took another entry. At this point, it came back and we had a displacement. That was my entry. First partials, the midpoint of this studio opening gap. Second partials, when price filled the opening range gap. And third partial was when price got the low of London. And I got stopped out my last partials at this when price came back to the midpoint of the main threshold of this other block. Yeah, so it was a nice trade. I think I closed about 85% in profit, and I think stopped out at break even. Not in break even, but still in profit at the end of the day. So that was a quick narration, a quick summary of my today's trade on Nasdaq. See you guys on the next video.